So, we have good news. Our builder came yesterday to take some measurements and start plastering the walls of the first floor of our house. Last night we covered everything. We covered the floor with nylon and everything is ready. We have some beautiful frost here on the windows. It's from outside, but it's really pretty. We've also covered our cables because builders are usually very messy when they work and they don't bother to keep clean. So here everything is protected. Outside is -5 currently, sunny but very cold. And here we have another frosty figures on the windows. It's the outside of the window, but looks amazing. I'm not sure if we have to cover the windows as well, but the builder will come in an hour, so we'll ask him and put some protection on them as well. We finally started making some progress here. The builder started filling the hose from the electrical cables. Not everywhere, but here it looks already better. He brought some materials to plaster the walls after that. We also finally have our metal holder covered. You can see the difference. It already looks so much better. We have a very beautiful warm day today. Although it's quite windy. You can probably hear the wind whistling. Today I'm gonna show you the slow progress we are making here on the first floor of our house. Unfortunately, the builder just comes for a few hours a day and he has not done a lot of work. You can see he only started with the rough work on the walls and he managed to do these 2 doors, that one which leads to the kitchen and the other one here. He also covers the hose from the electric cables, but not in every room. In this room it's okay, but in the other room he has a lot of work to do. Here actually it's wall chimney covered with fireproof plasterboard. And we finally can see the metal holder. Looks so much nicer. But unfortunately there is a lot of work to do and I don't see how he will manage till the end of January. That was the term he promised he'll finish the job. So maybe next week we get some luck and maybe next week he'll start plastering these walls, because his idea was actually to put 2 layers of plaster, and after that he has to sand these walls, and after that he has to paint the walls. So that's a lot of work for just 1 week. So the progress we are making here is really slow, and that's the reason we will probably put the tiles on the floor ourselves. Our idea is to finish that floor completely and move our stuff from the second floor here and start repairing the second floor. But the way I see it with the time, maybe until spring we'll be able to do that. The guy for the electricity also didn't show up because he had to come and tell us what sockets we need to buy. He also had to give us a price quote for that job, but 1 week passed and he's not here. That's typical for the company we hired, so probably we decide to look for another company. With this way of working, we will not progress any further till the end of the year, maybe. Currently, our walls are at this stage. The first layer of plaster has been out, but the walls are quite wet. Yesterday we had some diesel heater that our builder brought to dry the walls, but he did lots of work during the day, so some of the walls are still quite wet. I'm hoping today he will come and he'll do more work because the weekend is approaching and he'll probably leave the walls to dry a bit before he does more job. And he also put here the first layer of plaster. He works quite well last few days, so I'm hoping that most of the job on the first layer will be done by the end of this week, and we'll finally can have our walls white. We don't have holes from the cables, we don't have holes from other screws and things like before we had. Now the walls are white, but obviously he has to apply a second layer of plaster. After that he has to sand all of it, and we are expecting him to paint with white everything, and it has to be ready to install all sockets and for the electricity guy to come and connect all sockets to the fuse box. But it already makes a difference, because here where the old kitchen was, the walls were quite ugly. Now it's all white. That's the way we want it. We have quite a lot of moisture on the windows, but that's because the walls are quite wet. We have a heater in the other room running, and the builder brought another diesel heater yesterday, which was quite powerful. That thing you see on the floor actually. That machine dries the walls quite fast, but unfortunately it stinks a lot. So every 1 hour he has to open all windows to be able to work. I'm afraid that today he might not use it because it really smells bad, but it does a lot of good job. Here we have this small heater running right now. That room looks quite well. This was the first room he started working, so I think here we had the most progress. I think the corridor has not been plastered yet. We don't have first layer here, but he'll probably do it today. He'll also come to work today, so that's a job that he'll probably do today. Here we had a patch on the ceiling that peeled off. I think that problem comes from the fact that nobody lived in the house for the last few years. There was not fresh air. They were not opening the windows and doors, so the moisture stayed in the house, and that's why the old paint started peeling off. But I hope with the job we did to help the builder removing old paint, now with the primer he put under the first layer of plaster, everything will be fine, and I hope we won't have this issue with the walls. I hope the weather will continue to improve. Last few days it was warm, about 10-11 degrees. So if it continues this way, we will be able to open the windows. When the air circulates in the room, the walls will dry faster if it's warm outside like today. Next week, the second layer of plaster should be applied. Once it dries, the walls will be sanded and painted, and this floor will be ready for installing the tiles and connecting the electricity. Watch the next episode of our house renovation to see these walls finally finished. You will also see our new tiles, which were just delivered, and we look forward to having them installed. They look amazing. If you want to follow our progress, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to not miss an update. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.